Hello everyone and welcome back to GodSaw's Turnbuckle, and we are going to be predicting WrestleMania 41 Night 2. So, we did do Night 1 earlier as its own separate video, mainly to try to keep things condensed to a shorter video on those ones instead of one very long one. So as of right now, we do have 6 matches officially announced. More than likely, we will be seeing a match added with Randy Orton in there because to kind of replace the fact that Randy Orton was supposed to go up against Kevin Owens, and of course Kevin Owens is unfortunately out with a neck injury. Hopefully he gets he's able to get well and just have a good life. For that, if he can come back, that's awesome. If not, hopefully he gets to stay healthy. But otherwise, I do see them having a match with Randy Orton on that one. More than likely, it will be with Solo Sikoa, though they have also teased Nick Aldis as well. Regardless of how that ends out going, I do feel like Randy Orton will be picking up the victory in that one. If the match is even made, I'm just kind of anticipating that's going to be the case. So basically for that one, I will be predicting Randy Orton as long as he has a match. And up first for the matches that we do know that are announced at this time, we have the Women's Tag Team Championship match. It will be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez going up against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. This was officially set up with the gauntlet match on SmackDown, where Bayley and Lyra were able to go through the entire gauntlet. They basically went wire to wire. They have been doing little teases here and there that this was kind of going to be the match. I felt like they were setting up more of a multi-team match in this one, but they ended up going with Bayley and Lyra as the only team for this. They've been, like I said, they've been kind of setting this up with the whole, Raquel Rodriguez beat Bayley for #1 contendership for the Women's Intercontinental title. Bayley helped out Lyra Valkyria after that match with Raquel Rodriguez. And then they've been kind of doing a few little backstage things where Liv and Raquel were like, they were trying to discuss things of what they were going to do about Bayley and Lyra to go along with it. Kind of led into the gauntlet match, which they ended up winning. Honestly, in this particular case, I feel like they may be setting up something more with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria down the line. They can play off the whole aspect that Bayley beat Lyra for the entrance into the Elimination Chamber, but when they had the Women's Intercontinental title match against both of them, Lyra beat Bayley, so that you have a 1-1 situation in that case. So I do feel like Liv and Raquel are going to be the ones picking up the victory here. They're going to be keeping those women's tag team titles, and we're going to have some other fun things with the Judgment Day a little bit later on with this one, but they're going to at least be keeping those women's tag team titles in this case. And up next, it will be a Sin City street fight. It is going to be Damian Priest going up against Drew McIntyre. And honestly, in terms of the builds of everything, for everything here, this has actually been one of the more exciting ones. And I feel like that's just an aspect of how Drew and Damian have been working off of each other. They've been doing a really good job with that, really getting people invested into, or at least getting me invested into wanting to watch this match at WrestleMania. And the factor that it's going to be a street fight to go along with it, it does kind of play up to the fact that these two have been kind of brawling all over the place to begin with, so it makes sense that it would be a street fight. Now, in terms of a winner here, it's not, I don't feel like it's a very hard call here. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre on this one, though you kind of wonder if maybe they wanted to put Damian Priest over in this a little bit more, just for the purposes of, he kind of always gets the upper hand on Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, or just he continues to get that upper hand over Drew in general. But I do feel like Drew McIntyre is going to be picking up the victory here, because I do feel like they're going to be having him go more towards maybe a WWE Championship thing down the road within the year. Who necessarily knows when that will end up being with that one. but I don't feel like he's going to be losing a feud anytime soon. So I'm going to see him picking up the victory here. And yeah, I'm going to be going with, not Damian Priest, I'm going to be going with Drew McIntyre. And up next, we have a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be Bron Breakker going up against Penta versus Finn Balor and Dominik Mysterio. This is a very intriguing match. Penta's come into the WWE. He's been great so far. And of course, you've had Bron Breakker with the Intercontinental title for actually a good chunk of time at this point. He won it back at SummerSlam, lost it briefly to Jey Uso, but picked it back up really quickly, and has basically held the title ever since. And then you had the infighting with the Judgment Day. Well, that's where a lot of the intrigue is here, and I do feel like we're going to be getting a new Intercontinental Champion in this match. I don't feel like it's going to be Penta, and oddly enough, my pick for this one, actually, I'm not sure if this is oddly enough because I feel like a lot of people are going this route, but it would be really cool to see Dominik Mysterio pick up the victory here and pick up that victory maybe over Finn or someone other than Bron. So I would pretty much figure it'd be Finn to kind of play up the whole dissension of the Judgment Day, and they can kind of just play off that. So my pick to win this Intercontinental title is going to be Dominik Mysterio. And up next, we do have AJ Styles going up against Logan Paul. Honestly, this is probably going to be a good match. The story that they've had set up on this one does have Logan Paul kind of having the upper hand most of the time over AJ Styles, and he did kind of stand tall on the last Monday Night Raw. Like I said, honestly, it's probably going to be a good match. Am I really intrigued to see AJ Styles go up against Logan Paul? Not really. On that one. My prediction for this one is going to be AJ Styles, mainly because they've had Logan Paul kind of stand tall in most of the segments leading into it, so it kind of makes sense that AJ would be picking up the victory here, so I'm going to go with AJ Styles. And up next, it will be for the Women's World Championship. It will be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. This story has basically been ever since Io Sky's won the title, this story's been basically Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley kind of fighting each other and just pushing Io Sky to the side. And Io will always do something to kind of get the upper hand to its own degree, but they keep going back to this whole aspect that they really are focusing a lot on Rhea and Bianca in this one. And it just leads me to believe that Io Sky is going to be picking up the victory here, because the way that they've been kind of setting it up does feel like Io Sky would win this particular match. Now they could put that title on Bianca Belair, and they're going to set up maybe the match for next year's WrestleMania with her and Rhea Ripley, because I do feel like they're going to do a big one-on-one match with Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair somewhere down the road. Could be next year's WrestleMania. Honestly, they could set that up at any given time here. Just the way that they've been playing this off, I feel like Io Sky has to pick up the victory in this one. So that's going to be my prediction for this. It's going to be Io Sky. And up next, it will be the main event for night 2. It's going to be for the WWE Championship. It will be Cody Rhodes going up against John Cena. John Cena, of course, turning heel back at Elimination Chamber and siding with The Rock at that point. And guess what? We haven't seen The Rock ever since. Now, I don't know if he's going to actually show up in any way, shape, or form here. And honestly, the promos that they have had with both Cody Rhodes and John Cena have been really good. And if we do go based upon everything leading into this, their last interaction, Cody Rhodes left John Cena lying with a crossroads. And basically, Cody's had a few other promos since. Now, John Cena is going to be on SmackDown. I am obviously filming this before that SmackDown even airs. So we don't even know what's going to happen there. With everything and how it's been set up, I've really been enjoying the promos between the two of them when they've been interacting with each other. We just haven't had them interacting with each other for a couple of weeks now. I feel like this is going to be John Cena picking up the victory on this one. Whether it's going to be with help from The Rock or anything like that, I don't necessarily know. But I'm going to predict John Cena to pick up the victory, take the WWE title, and then we'll see how long this heel run, lasts. I don't feel like it's a heel run that's going to last a very short period of time in terms of during this whole retirement tour for John Cena. So I can see it lasting for a good chunk of time. So I do see Cena picking up the championship here and going over Cody Rhodes. Now, that is everything for Night 2's WrestleMania. Much like with Night 1, feel free to leave your own predictions down in the comments below if you so wish. Also, like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. And with that being said, again, I hope you all take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.